Hi everyone. I just want to go ahead and record one more quick video to help you out with this skill development activity. And so the part that we're going to talk about in this video is really kind of how do we steal aerial photography from Google Earth. And when I say steal, this is an open process. They have a copy image process that we're going to use. And so anyway, basically what you're seeing here on the screen is this is the aerial photograph that we're looking to capture. And so I'm going to jump over to Google Earth here real quick. So you can see that Google Earth is really just a compilation of different data sets, so different aerial photographs. And if you kind of zoom around the screen, you'll see you get to an edge of one, and you right. But really, it's also when you zoom in and out, you actually can change the resolution. And so they process the data, and/or it's actually a different picture in some cases as you zoom in than the one you see when you zoom out. So what we're trying to do here in the middle of the screen, you kind of see the Iverson Park jumping out. Here's the Stevens Point Country Club. Iverson Park kind of comes up through here, Plover River comes down this way, right? And so what we're going to try and do is we're going to zoom in far enough so we can get a lot of accuracy in the data. And we want to go ahead and use that imagery. Again, we're going to copy this image and we're going to take it into Photoshop. I'm going to show you in just 2 steps. And so basically we're going to capture 2 images. And so again, you can see that the resolution on this right now is pretty good. If I zoom out, it gets fuzzier as I go. So again, I want to be zoomed in. Next thing the instructions ask you to do is use this reset tool that resets the tilt, and to be honest, you can actually go ahead and reset the compass this way so that you make sure you're pointed north. You can also do that by double clicking on the north arrow over here. Alright, once I've got it here, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go edit, copy image. I'm going to go into Photoshop, right? So this is the drawing that I'm actually working in. This is my base drawing, and what I need instead is I just need to create a new document. Fortunately, when you've copied something, it actually brings it in the same size from the other document. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do first is I'm going to go ahead and hit OK, and it'll create a new document. Now I'm going to go ahead and just paste this in, right? And so here's my image. So it's the first chunk of Iverson Park that I want to work with. I'm going to go ahead at this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and activate my background layer. Just you double click on it, it makes it so that I can do this. I need a bigger space to work on. Basically, I need more space down the page. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do, I think in the instructions it says I went out to a 40 by 40, but I don't really need to do that. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go 30 inches in height, and I'm going to set it from the top so that it actually kicks me some space to the bottom. You see, all I did there is I changed the size of the workspace I have. And the reason for that is I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to zoom in down to the bottom half of the park, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reset my views. So reset the tilt, reset the compass. Oh, it looks like you can do that with one click, tilt and compass. I'm going to copy my image. I'm going to go back in and I'm going to paste this in. But now you can see that they don't quite line up, right? And so I need to make sure that the process lines up for what it is I'm working on. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to actually drag the bottom up on top. And then I'm going to change this opacity to 50%. And you can see what that does, it allows me to see through the image. And I can get a rough estimation of where that lines up here. But then it also helps use the zoom. Again, you can find your zoom over here on the toolbar, right there at the bottom. And you can zoom in. You can see it's a little blurry. I can actually use the arrow keys on my keyboard to make the last fine scale adjustments. Looks like it's all lined up to me. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter at that point. I'm going to change back to 100% here, and you can see I've got the image that I'm looking for. I can grab the crop tool, let's see, right here, and I can go ahead, I don't need all this stuff off here to the side. I'm going to go ahead and crop it to the edge of the page that I've got. Bring this all up here to the bottom. Alright. So now I've got an aerial photograph I can bring back in. And so I'm going to go back to my Photoshop base for just a second. I'm going to turn off the layers that I've got up and bring that one back on. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and Control A, Control C, and Control V. And you can see that that doesn't fit perfectly, right? It just kind of dropped in an image, and I'm obviously not laying over where I want to be. And so what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to change the opacity again down to 50%. And I'm going to go ahead and drag this into location, try and find some spots. And to be honest, I may have to use some other information to get this to line up perfectly. But in general, I know that there's my corridor, my main traffic corridor here on the bottom. And so that's a good place to start. Next, I'm going to use the free transform tool. And so the free transform tool can be found using Control T or under the edit menu. And what this does is if you hold the shift key down, it allows you to do a proportional expansion. And so I can drag this up in size the way that I want it to look until I can get this to drop in exactly where I want it to be on the image. And so with that tool in mind, I can go ahead and get it lined up to where I want it to fit. I can play around with this, but when I get it done, it should go ahead and line up and look something like that. All right, I hope that helps.